Are you counting net carbs or total carbs? If you're counting net carbs, that could be a big issue right there. Please count total carbs. For anybody who's watching this, net carbs is not a real thing. It's fake. It's made up by the food industry. Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 264.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, please say hi down below.
Down here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and X.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, in that way every single time we're sort of squeaky, you'll be alerted to it.
Somebody got me sick.
I am sorry, but Chris Bear, how dare you, sir? No, it was me. It was definitely me.
So welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. If you are new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about our subscribers. We generally like to go live on Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern. Celebrate wins of our subscribers, highlight success stories we found on our social media networks like our Mighty Networks group, which you can find at members.twocrazyketos.com. And we also answer comments that we found on our different posts from the last week. Like I said, normally we do this live, but when you are seeing this, if you're watching this on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, we're on the road on our way to Elkhart, Indiana, to pick up our new RV. We're not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to watch and find out. We also have another channel called Two Crazy Campers. By the time you're watching this, we are probably halfway between Georgia and Tennessee. We're going to stop in the Nashville area. I would say when you're watching this, we're probably just north of Atlanta. Hopefully we didn't get nailed in Atlanta traffic. But anyway, we're filming this on Saturday. Now, if you are watching this at 10 a.m. Eastern time, we're live in the chat. Or at least I'm driving and Rachel is live in the chat.
Or I'm on a potty break.
Hopefully I'm not doing all the driving. I'm planning on Rachel doing some of the driving.
I can drive the truck because going up, it won't be attached to a trailer.
You're going to learn how to drive the trailer while we're gone.
And I helped.
So say hi down below in the chat. We really appreciate you guys for joining us. Now, we will be live on Thursday at our normal time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Starlink is packed up in the truck. Yes. We will be camping in our new RV, hanging out up there. Also, if you are in the Indiana, I guess northern Indiana type area, let us know down in the comment section or shoot us a message on Mighty Networks at members.twocrazyketos.com. If you're not a member, I don't know why. It's completely free. Go join. But our plan is on Saturday to have some kind of meetup, but we need some help.
Right.
We need somebody to help us organize some type of a place where we can all get together, have a meal, maybe Buffalo Wild Wings, something like that. Yeah, nothing super expensive. We were thinking about maybe shooting over to Bish's RV, which I believe is in Ohio, but just shoot us a message so we can let you guys know exactly where we're planning on being on Saturday. We will definitely know by Wednesday. And so you're over in that area, let us know.
And we won't be sick by then.
Better not be.
We're not going to give you nothing.
So we spent this last week up in Orlando hanging out with Chris and Miriam Bear and their children, as well as Sarah and Matt Franklin.
Such a great time.
We had a blast. We did a couple days at Disney. We had a day of just relaxation, trying to recover from being sick. And then a couple of days at Universal Studios. Got home this morning about 9 o'clock. It is Saturday when we're filming this. spent the entire day packing.
Yes.
Went out to dinner for Caleb's birthday.
It was a whirlwind, and we had to do it not 100%. But I got to tell you, it is nice to have food that energizes us. Even when we're sick, we know what to eat.
Right. Meat.
It was what's for dinner.
Meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are planning on getting up in the morning, head off to church, and then from there, head on out. We're going to stop and see the grandbaby.
Yes.
And yes, happy Easter to everybody. And then our plan is to get, hopefully, to the edge of the Florida-Georgia border. That is the plan.
Yes. I got good news.
You got new news?
He is risen.
He has risen.
Happy Easter to everybody. I know that, like, by the time you're seeing this, it's already passed, but it's still good news.
That's right.
It's good news the day after Easter as well.
Yep, that's right. I also have some good news.
Okay.
I made a post in Mighty Networks. I don't have a lot of these cabins.
All right.
However, the 2KK Getaway Cruise, I was able to reprice the boardwalk balconies. I think we have 4 of them. I was thinking about maybe trying to get a couple more, but I'd have to get rid of another category. So let me know if you'd be interested. But the price on those cabins dropped by $300.
That is significant.
It's a significant amount of money. Again, 2KK Getaway Cruise is 6 days, Oasis of the Seas, sailing out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, December 8th.
So excited.
Super excited about it. But yeah, we have 4 of those cabins. So I was really excited that we were able to get a few cabins with a lower price, and we were able to reprice the person who actually had one of those already. If you are going on the cruise, you'll notice I never recommend to my clients, because if you didn't know, I'm a travel agent. You can always, if you want to book a cruise or anything, 2kktravel@gmail.com. But I never recommend paying everything off until final payment date, because if the price goes down, I can reprice it, but only if you haven't paid it off. Right. So even if you want to pay it off, I always say save out a few $100, about a week or so before the final payment date. Then we process that final payment just in case, because it's always nice to save a couple $100.
That's a lot of money.
Right.
That is like groceries.
Yeah.
I mean, that's seriously like a lot of money.
Super excited about that. Other thing I am excited about is the Easter egg
We have
contest.
a winner, yes. So we had an Easter egg decorating contest in the Mighty Networks, and then we had voting going across like all of social media to see like who was the winner, and there was definitely a clear winner on this. I love when that happens.
Can I show it?
Yes. So it is from Katie Cook. Congratulations. She actually started with a plastic egg and actually turned it in to the Easter story.
I love this.
I love that so much. So congratulations, Katie. You are the winner of the Easter egg decorating contest. You know how sweet this woman is? She actually didn't vote for herself. She voted for somebody else, but she still won. And so
we're going to send off some swag and stuff, but I am going to be honest.
We have to wait till we get back.
I'm going to do it when I get back.
Yes.
Because I want to send you something special. But you'll have to send us your shipping information. You can send it to Joe at 2krazyketos.com. Don't worry, I won't forget. I will put it in a special folder so that I don't lose it. But I just don't have enough time to prepare it.
Before we leave in the morning.
We have to leave by like 11 a.m. so that we can see the grandbaby before we head out. So, but congratulations,
yes.
Katie. Thank you to everybody who participated. Again, if you're not a member of our Mighty Networks group, that's where we spend a bulk of our time. We really enjoy Mighty Networks because there's no ads in there. There's no bots or anything watching what you're saying and booting you out because you use words that you're not supposed to use, other than us. Like if you become keto police, we're going to boot you out. Our only rule in there is no posting of any kind of videos from anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. Dr. Barry, the only videos that you can post in there are 2 Crazy Ketos videos. And
shameless plug.
That's just so that we can make sure that it is a safe space. Now, if you're a member of Mighty Networks, that is an open, free space to have community. That's why it's there. if you want to support us financially and get a little more from Two Crazy Ketos, you can do that within Mighty Networks by joining one of the 3 groups at $5, $10, or $25. While we are on the road, we will be doing some additional live streams in the higher up sections. So in the $5, the $10, the $25 levels, we will be doing some extra live streams. Probably going to be doing a couple while we're actually driving.
Well, and I feel like it is right to say thank you.
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
We've got some great plans for Mighty Networks for the paid
Yes.
supporters. I'm super, super excited about trying to work on putting those things into place while we're just out on the road. Are you ready to get into Keto Beyond the Couch?
We better go before our voice goes.
I will read it because your voice is squeaky.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. This was an inspirational post I found. It was from Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Matt said, so many times we all see ourselves as how we used to be. We need to see ourselves for how we are now. The windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror for a reason. The present and the future are much more important than the past. And he put up this quote from Maya Angelou. It says, the real difficulty is to overcome how you think about yourself.
You know, in the Meatheads group, we are currently doing a little bit of like a mini course talking about having a discussion about stress response. And though we have talked about exterior stressors, and there are many, internal stressors, which is basically rooted in the way that we see ourselves and speak to ourselves, is the number one stressor. You think about what stress causes, like lack of sleep and stress eating and worrying and fretting about the future. A lot of it begins with us. But the good news is, if it begins with us, then we know right who to go to fix it. Like if we're the one that's caused the problem, then we can be a part of cleaning it up and changing things.
Yep. So we're going to move on to our subscriber of the week. And this was a success story I found over on our Mighty Networks group. We always ask you to please share your story. Your story is so important. It does 2 things. Number 1, it reminds you of where you came from. But number 2, and more importantly, it helps other people to realize they are not alone.
Right.
There is somebody else out there right now that is going through what you've gone through or what you're currently going through, and they think nobody else understands. Nobody else is going through those same issues. And when you share your story, they realize, hey, there's somebody else that can help me. There's somebody else that can identify with the same issues that I'm going through. So please share your story. And your story doesn't have to be, I lost 100 pounds. Your story could be something as simple as, for the first time in my life, I've gone 5 days without sugar. That's important to share because a lot of people struggle with something like that. Some people struggle with consuming cans of whipped cream. Some people struggle with eating way too much cheese when you are on vacation and get so phlegmy that you think that I swallowed something.
Well,
I did. Cheese.
I was thinking, just in terms of what Matt had just shared in his post, you could share, hey, this is a new script that I'm writing for myself this week. This is the first day that I looked in the mirror and this is what I said and it was positive. Share that so that it can help other people figure out what can they start doing to turn things around.
So this week's post is from Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Said 3 years, probably only 20 pounds lost, but look at the difference. The scales just don't agree with my face.
You are so stinking right. Well, first of all, you are gorgeous and only 20. 20 pounds is a lot. I do not want to lug around an extra 20 pounds in my purse. I know when you were carrying my backpack when we were at the parks, you probably thought there was 20 extra pounds in it, wasn't it? But 20 pounds is significant, and you are right. A lot of times when we lose even a couple pounds in our face, it's like such a difference that it makes. It really makes a huge difference. When I get
inflammation, like whether it be because my electrolytes are low or I've had too much cheese or I've had too many nuts, it doesn't a lot of times equate into like just fat. it equates into
Inflammation.
and it's immediately my face gets all puffy. Like, I don't feel good. I'm sick right now. My face is all puffy.
Same.
So, first comment we have is from Leanne.
Hi, Leanne.
Leanne said, after 8 weeks on keto, I noticed I was getting lightheaded when I stood up from bending down, etc. I hadn't checked my blood pressure in a while, and knowing that I still have a lot of weight to lose, thought surely it couldn't have gone down so quickly. But my blood pressure was 96/64. My doctor had me eliminate one of my 2 meds. I'm so thrilled and know that it's only a matter of time before I'll be off the other one. Yeah. I love that you guys always remind us about non-scale victories. I saw your weight loss journey video, which I loved, and Rachel's change in dress size versus the weight on the scale was such an eye-opener and encouragement.
Wow, thank you, Leanne. We are celebrating with you. Wow, to have an entire prescription in 8 weeks.
Yes.
A prescription has been de-prescribed.
Yes.
I mean, tell me how in other ways you could have that done that quickly.
They can't.
I mean, that is absolutely amazing. And then it is out of your life. You don't have to depend on it. You don't have to pay for it anymore. And you don't have to suffer the side effects that whatever that medication was having.
Yep.
So what a blessing all around.
Now, I do want to remind you, if you are new here, we are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals.
Or even real rabbits.
I am a certified master health coach, but everything we talk about is based on what we have learned through experimentation on our own, what I learned while I was becoming a certified master health coach, and also from conversations that we have had with people who actually are doctors, nurses, and health professionals. But one thing I do want to say is if you are getting started on keto, if you are on medication, make sure that you are working with your doctor and closely monitoring things like your blood pressure medication, things like diabetes medication, or if you're taking insulin, because many times those medications are going to have to be adjusted rather quickly, especially if you're on a diabetes medication or if you're on insulin. Very quickly, all of a sudden, like your glucose isn't high. So those are things you definitely need to monitor and make sure you're consulting with your doctor. Let's take a quick fade to black and come back with some more comments.
Usually I take a coffee break, but that was a cough break.
Yeah. Next one is from Sandra.
Hey, Sandra.
Sandra said, I just got my order of keto brains and I tried it this morning. Good grief. I recently was diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 60, and I'm wondering, where has this been all my life? Thank you for telling everyone about it.
Well, thank you, Sandra, for telling everyone about it also, because, you know, the way that we really, truly help others is more people finding it and then sharing it. Something like this that helps for somebody like you and for like me. It's not necessarily for everybody, but for me and clearly for Sandra, big difference. And that's what I thought was, where has this been all my life?
Yep.
Because, and really, where has this been the entirety of my keto journey?
Yeah.
Because I would have enjoyed it even 5 years ago, right? But I'm glad it's in my life now. And that's a great reminder that we're actually right in the middle of a special sale.
Only for Two Crazy Ketos
Just for Two Crazy Ketos family. If you go through our link, you're going to save 20% and you are going to be entered to win a possibility of
6 months of Keto Brains.
6 months.
And 6 months of coffee.
Of the Keto Brains coffee.
Yeah.
So that is a tremendous, tremendous sale.
Next one is from Jay Reynolds.
Hey, Jay.
Said, comfortable clothes is a wonderful tracking system.
Isn't it? I mean, it really is. We even went out all you can eat.
3 times this week. Well, we went one time at a German restaurant, and then last night, and then again today. All you can eat, and my clothes still fit.
It is wonderful. It really is, and it's a good reminder that you're eating the proper food. The proper food makes a difference. It's not just quantity.
Yeah.
It is, what is it? What is it that you're eating?
Yeah.
You know, that's very, very important.
Next one is from Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
Said, you guys should stop by the largest flea market. Don't tell her this. The largest flea market in the world in Shipshawana, Indiana. It's not far from Elkhart.
Writing this down.
And she said there is an RV resort next door, only open a few days a week. Well, we will be there for a week.
Thank you, Michelle. You know that's my jam.
Is anybody
thrift stores and flea markets
in like the Indianapolis area? Is there anybody in the area where the eclipse is going straight through?
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince Rachel to take a ride with me. It's about 2 hours from where we're going to be.
It's not going to be a hard convince. I'd like to see it.
You'd like to see it?
I would.
And it would be just really cool. I mean,
Super
once in a
cool.
lifetime opportunity to experience a full total eclipse for about 4 minutes, because I know it's going like right through Indianapolis.
So is it a total eclipse of the heart? And let us know in the comments if you are going to be watching the eclipse yourself and where are you planning to watch it from.
Yeah. Next one is from Risa.
Hey, Risa.
Said, I've been making L. reuteri fermented dairy for a month now, and I have to say I've had a lot less GI issues, less diarrhea, less stomach aches, less issues in general. I've heard great things about it, and I'm reading the book by Dr. Davis, and I'm learning a lot. I've also been eating a lot more kraut, more kimchi, more fermented pickles. It is definitely helping me. I told my son we should start instituting some of these in his diet, which is terrible, and he may see some changes in the gut biome. Less bathroom issues. We'll see how that goes. Yeah,
that's great.
Fermented foods, yogurts, things like that, they are very good for your gut biome. They're very good for your digestive system. One thing I always like to remind people, because like I love sauerkraut, when you heat it, it kind of it loses some of its benefits.
Right.
You kill off some of the live cultures in there, so you want to eat that stuff cold. You want to eat cold kimchi, cold sauerkraut. So, take it and once you heat it up, you're killing off
it makes
the bacteria.
sense, right? It makes sense.
So make sure you're not heating it up, as much as I love warm sauerkraut. Next one is from Sophia.
Hey, Sophia.
Said, prevention before disease is hard for most people to do.
Yes.
People's addiction to sugar is slowly killing them in progressively painful ways. That's where drugs come into play. I still get people who tell me that the food they ingested is not the problem. Watching the people we care about slowly poison themselves isn't easy.
It really isn't. And you're right. I mean, this is a very important thing for us to take into this new week. We're walking into, no joke, we're walking into a brand new month, April 1st.
This is airing on April Fool's Day.
Yeah, no joke. We're actually on the way to Elkhart, Indiana. We're not trying to fool you in any way.
Right.
But prevention is better. A lot of times we think to ourselves, when there's an issue, I will address the issue. It's so much smarter to prepare yourself, to do the right thing and not have an issue, right? Like that is the most important thing. We're going on this trip. We pack for this trip. There's certain things that we're doing in preparation for a trip so that it could be successful. Not just like, hey, we're just going to go, not pack anything, not do anything, not do any preparation, and we'll just see what happens. Like that would be a plan for failure on a trip, and it's certainly a plan for failure in life.
Yeah. By the way, what happened to the Post-it note?
Half the stuff. Sweetheart, I can't even believe that you've got the gall to even say that when I'm going on a month-long trip with one suitcase.
You did really good.
Oh my gracious.
I'm so proud of you.
Are y'all proud of me? Because usually I would need 2 suitcases for one weekend, and I'm going on a month-long trip in cold weather. Yeah. So I need layers. So it's not like I've got 30 outfits. You've got a lot rotated. So look forward to seeing me in the same old things for the next month.
Next one is from Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
What do you think of the cheap $10 blood alcohol breathalyzers? It will measure your acetone. You want me to be honest? They're garbage.
Save your $10.
They're garbage. So, yes, a keto monitor is measuring acetone, but you need a good one. As we've talked about before, breath meters are very difficult to use. You have to get all the way to the bottom. They're also very sensitive to the environment around them, so they need to be calibrated. They need to have the sensors changed and cleaned on a regular basis. I mean, not so. A lot of times, I am very opposed to people who consume alcohol and drive. I had a dear friend lose a child. Actually, a couple of dear friends lose a child in a horrific accident by someone who was
drinking and driving
well above the legal limit. But I'm very sensitive to drinking and driving. One of the ways that people get off is because the blood alcohol meter
wasn't calibrated.
Was not calibrated, and so that becomes an issue. The breathalyzers on Amazon that are like $10, they're cheap pieces of junk. They're not going to be calibrated correctly. They pick up everything in the environment around them, and they quickly give false readings, and usually it's a false negative. So personally, I wouldn't be bothered with it. If you really want a breathalyzer, you need a breath keto meter. You need to spend a couple $100. Honestly, I don't think they're really needed, and you're much better off if you really want to follow your ketones. Follow the ketones that are unused, which are in your blood, using a Keto Mojo.
Yeah.
Next one is from Melinda.
Hi, Melinda.
Melinda said, I need some advice. I'm 4-ish weeks into ketovore. I've been having some TMI issues, frequent bathroom visits. I don't have a gallbladder. I also have 1 salty a day. Am I just not adjusted yet, or is it the salty? It's probably a combination of a few things. Again, remember, we're not doctors or health professionals. 2 things that cause diarrhea is increased fat, increased salt. Your body does get used to it. I would tell you it's probably not the salt, because if you're only having 1, I highly doubt that you are consuming like 4,500 to 6,500 milligrams of sodium, which is really what we need. But you've increased your fat and you don't have a gallbladder. What you want to do is check out some of Dr. Barry's videos on doing keto without a gallbladder. You really kind of just need to stair-step yourself into consuming fat. You're probably going to have to do it more gradually throughout the day instead of sitting down and eating just a giant like steak with lots of fat. You're going to have to kind of work your way into it. But check out some of Dr. Barry's videos. Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll come right back.
So the month of April, we have a brand new monthly focus for the Two Crazy Ketos family. So for the year 2024, our overall focus is the pursuit of more in 2024. And every month, we're pursuing one focus. And for this month, it's the pursuit of more reading. And we're definitely going to be doing that on our drive.
Yep.
You can do it using an Audible if you don't want to read, a print edition. But I'm really looking forward to you sharing some of your recommendation for good reads. And this is not about like only reading scientific data and like books about keto. I would love to see, what are you reading? What are some of the fun titles that I should be on the lookout for? What do you think that I would enjoy, and what are you currently reading?
Next one we have is from Maureen.
Hey, Maureen.
Maureen said, I signed up for Ketopalooza in October, but I can't find any information on the itinerary other than dates and location. Am I looking in the wrong place, or is it just too early? It's just too early.
Too early.
Ketopalooza is in October. It's pretty much Autumn and her family. A couple of volunteers doing everything. You'll start finding more things on who the speakers are and the schedule and everything. I can give you a roundabout schedule, so long as she's going to do it pretty much like she did it last year. The first evening, there'll be like a little meet and greet, some games, get to know each other. The next day, we have some conferences. There'll be a 5K walk where at some point
usually
there's
she
a
has
walk.
like a breakfast.
Yep.
But I honestly, you never know with Autumn, because she always keeps it fun and exciting and new. So I almost don't even want to give you like last year's itinerary, because it could be completely different, and then you're like, am I missing something? So yeah, it's just too early, but as soon as we know, we'll make sure that we like turn everybody's attention to it.
Next one is from Mickey.
Hey, Mickey.
Mickey said, does anybody know what yogurt I can buy for good gut bacteria because I have to take an antibiotic? Honestly, I would recommend making our yogurt. We have a recipe video. We actually have 3 different recipe videos.
Super easy.
They're all pretty much the same thing. One is using low-fat milk and one is using regular fat. With all of them, well, you wouldn't really do it if you're using low-fat milk, but you can actually add some heavy cream to make it even fattier and creamier. It
So
tastes
good.
delicious. But making your own yogurt is really super easy. And if you use the correct milks, we use Fairlife milk, it ends up being about 1 carb per serving, which is much lower than what you buy in the store. You can either buy your own little cultures, yogurt cultures, making it and then make the yogurt with that, or you could do the cheat way, which is what we do, and we buy Fahe yogurt and we put like a scoop of that into the milk, and then we use our Instant Pot. If you are looking for a good yogurt, I would look at something like Fahe or something because it has a couple of different types of cultures. So I always look at what are the different cultures in there, and I want to have a few different cultures. And Fahe seems to be the one that I like the best, and it has a really, really good flavor.
It does.
Next one is from Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie.
Bonnie said, ugh. I'm so close to throwing in this towel today and eating all of my favorite Easter time things.
No.
I'm stressed, depressed, and I've gained 15 pounds. My clothes don't fit. I feel horrible. Not that I ever feel good, just less bad. I've been extra careful about carbs the last couple of weeks, and I haven't seen or felt any positive changes. I'm not in a place where I want to go super strict or count anything. I'm not eating off plan things, and I've been trying to do more self-care, stress reduction, and nothing. I'm miserable and grouchy. My partner wants nothing to do with me, and I can't even blame him. I know that eating crap won't help. I just hate everything right now.
Bonnie, I am so sorry that you're going through this. I can definitely share that I've been there before. I think you already know that feeling terrible and then eating something terrible on top of it is not going to fix it. It's going to make a bad situation worse. In my experience, when you're going through hell, keep going. You want to get onto the other side of this. And so it may be a long journey. For me, it was many blocks of hell. However, I want to get on the other side of that to a place where I do feel good. I feel better. I start seeing results. And usually, I feel like it took me a lot longer to start feeling changes going on than even Joe did. Well, because I needed changes more. There was more things broken going on inside of me. So going back is only going to push that starting line further back. So that's not the shortcut. That's the long way.
Right.
So going forward, moving forward, but I really appreciate the fact that you're bringing this to the Mighty Networks and you're sharing it, because it's important for us to go ahead and get it out, see it, deal with it, point at it. I'm not happy about this, and then move forward.
Yes. So, Bonnie, we don't know what you're eating based on your post. So I'm going to suggest a couple things and make some assumptions. The assumptions may be wrong. We know what it means when we assume, right?
Yeah, it's dangerous.
I won't say the actual terms.
It's not good.
But a few things I want you to look at. Okay, so you say you're being extra careful about carbs. Are you counting net carbs or total carbs? If you're counting net carbs, that could be a big issue right there. Please count total carbs. For anybody who's watching this, net carbs is not a real thing. It's fake. It's made up by the food industry. Okay, there are certain fibers that, yes, your body does not digest. Things like the fibers in, asparagus and broccoli. Gum acacia is a pretty safe fiber. But most of the fibers in any kind of packaged food product, they're garbage. Your body is partially digesting them. Things like soluble corn fibers and things like that. And they're putting this in there and telling you you can deduct it. And I'm telling you, it's going to cause issues later on. And even if you don't have a glucose go up from it, what ends up happening is if you're counting net carbs, you end up over-consuming snacky things, which tend to be higher in fat and tend to derail you. So please look at that. what is your food intake? Go into Mighty Networks and put, like, what are you eating? Put up a sample of a day so that we and other people can give you some recommendations.
Maybe some tips.
A couple things that I would look at is try to cut it if you're eating a bunch of prepackaged products. Try to, if not cut them out, at least bring it down to one a day. That's where you really want to be, is like one a day. If you're having a Nola bar, one a day. If you're having a Quest peanut butter cups, one a day, but nothing else. That doesn't mean one Nola bar and one Quest cup. You get one. Because then meat and maybe some veggies, but try only eating 2 or 3 times a day. No snacking in between. Well, those are the 2 biggest things. And if you're doing that, you really shouldn't have to do a lot of counting.
No. But when you say that, like, I've been strict the last couple weeks, so I give it 90 days. You know what I mean? If you're like, I'm starting to really be a little bit more strict in my keto journey, be a little more strict in your keto journey for 90 days. Like, a lot of times we want to see, hey, I tighten things up in a week or 2. So for 2 weeks, well, the first week may have been just getting rid of inflammation.
Yeah.
And then you didn't see any...
something is going on. Yeah. If you've gained 15 pounds, something is going on.
Yeah.
You're way over consuming fat, which is definitely possible. You can gain weight on keto.
Sure.
If you consume a lot more fat than your body needs, you could gain weight. I mean, some people come into keto and think that keto is a license to eat 2 sticks of butter a day. It's not, okay? That will derail you. You do need to consume fat. Otherwise, you end up in stalls and some other issues, possibly even higher glucose. But it's not a license to just eat 2 sticks of butter a day plus whatever fat is in your food. So, and I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm just saying that is stuff that people do. It's something that I did. When I got started on keto and I didn't know what I was doing, at the end of the day, I'd look at it and like, I filled up all my carbs. I've eaten all my protein, but I have all this fat left. And I would sit down and eat like a half a stick of butter.
I would too.
I didn't need to, but I didn't understand it because there wasn't nearly as much information back there. But if you're gained 15 pounds, and I don't know what that time frame is, something is going on. Are you consuming alcohol? Alcohol, even if it's a 0-carb alcohol, will kick you out of ketosis, even if your meter says that you still have ketones in your blood. Whenever you consume alcohol, you will temporarily, usually for at least a day or possibly more, be kicked out of ketosis and ketogenesis because your body's dealing with the alcohol instead of dealing with fats and as well as the ketones that you may already have. So those are some things to look at, but please, you're in Mighty Networks.
Let us know what's
So head over to Mighty Networks and put up a sample of this is what a day looks like, and then some of us can give you some just suggestions and maybe guide you along. Next one we have is from Hospy.
Hello.
Said, can ketochow kick me out of ketosis? Wondering whether anyone with a CGM can tell me if they have a significant rise in glucose. There really is nothing in ketochow that should rise your glucose.
We've actually tested it several times.
Yeah. But if anything, you might even have your glucose go down a little bit. Now, if you're consuming a lot of protein with not a lot of fat, you could have a slight rise in glucose. Remember, there's a lot of things that affect your glucose, not just what you eat. If you go for a run, you'll have higher glucose. If you are sick, your glucose will go up. If you get stressed, your glucose go up. When I take a shower, my glucose goes up. If Rachel and I are in bed, our glucose goes up, right? So there's a lot of things that impact your glucose, and that's not a bad thing, okay? But overall, there really is nothing in ketochow that should be rising your glucose. So the best thing to do is, again, you can't go by other people because everybody's body is different. You need to test yourself. Yeah. Even if you don't use a CGM, use a finger stick. What you want to do, and you're going to do this a few times, you're going to stick yourself right before you eat. I would always recommend doing it several times, like at least 2 to 3 tests, because they can be off by 10-15%. Then consume your ketochow about an hour after you finish it.
You say excuse you.
Excuse me. Test it again. that would be where it would be the highest. And then after 2 hours, it should be back to where it was before. You will have, with almost anything you eat, a rise in glucose. That's normal.
Yeah.
And again, test 2 or 3 times each time. Like, test it, then test it again. Make sure your hands are washed. Because, again, I've tested 5 times in a row with 5 different tests. But you may get a 90, and then later on it's a 96. That's not an impact. What else is going on? Did you get up and walk across the room? Because that can raise your glucose.
Yeah.
So those are things to think about. Next one is from Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Jen said, I know the scale is not the best tool for measuring success. My clothes are falling off, and that speaks volumes. I used to be a 3X. Now from the waist up, I'm a medium, and the thighs down, I'm a medium. My problem area is the 2, in between the 2. And there, I'm still a 3X. I have a feeling the lack of exercise is the culprit. My reason for not exercising is the fear of hurting myself. I have been referred for a double knee replacement and surgery for a torn rotator cuff. I don't have time for surgery because since December of 2023, I had a professional acting job and it is my dream job.
Wow.
We only do 3 to 4 shows a month and it takes a couple of days to recover. How can I exercise without hurting myself? I want to lose the belly fat and strengthen my knees and my shoulder.
Well, definitely you could use the aid of like a walker or something that you could hold on to. Even my mom to this day uses a walking stick. Like she looks like Moses coming down the block because she just wants to make sure that she doesn't stumble and fall on a hike. It's completely reasonable to be concerned about that. And if you're like somebody like me, I was always concerned of hurting myself. Some of the fear that I had was just based on my sheer size. And even as I got smaller, I was still fearful as if I was somebody who was larger than a 24W. Right. I was always worried. I still sometimes will look at a chair and say, will that hold me? Right. Because I've fallen or broken a chair before. But there's definitely things like braces that you could utilize. And also I
would say a swimming pool.
Oh, a swimming pool is fantastic.
Yeah, so we're coming into the spring and the summer. Go to if it's too cold where you're at, go to a local pool, a YMCA, a health club that has a pool.
Yeah.
Because swimming uses a lot of different muscles and it's very low impact on your body. So that would be the biggest suggestion is using a swimming pool.
Great idea.
But one thing I do want to just remind you is we have no control where we lose weight.
No.
So you're down from a 3X to a medium on the top, a 3X to a medium on the bottom. That's just where the weight is coming off. You've lost a tremendous amount of weight. Just give it time and keep at it.
Congratulations.
Eventually, the fat's got to come off from the areas unless there's another underlying issue like lipedema, which could be something that's going on. Without really having you diagnosed by somebody, I couldn't tell you. But I would start with a swimming pool and also just keep doing what you're doing.
That's awesome.
Next one is from Sherry.
Hey, Sherry.
Sherry said, my name is Sherry. I've been following 2KK for a couple of years now. Years ago, I lost weight through Atkins, and I kept it off for years. I did put it back on, and anytime you go back to eating the way you used to eat, that will happen.
Right.
Absolutely. I decided to go back to low-carb keto a few years ago. I didn't want to do it alone, and it happened upon Joe and Rachel soon after I began. I fell in love with their hearts, and the support for that they provided was invaluable. I've never written or introduced myself before, but I plan to today.
Wow.
Thank you for all of your help, support, and love.
Sherry, thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey. What a privilege, and thank you for introducing yourself because now I know you. Now I get to meet you. I love that.
Next one is from George.
Hey, George.
Intermittent fasting. What are your favorite resources to help get your head into the concept? I've cut out snacks, only having 3 meals a day. I use Carb Manager for tracking. I may switch to Chronometer when my subscription runs out. I'm eating those 3 meals within a 10-hour window.
Dude, you're killing it.
I don't think there's any real resources you need if you want to learn more about fasting. Dr. Jason Fung's got stuff. Dr. Barry has talked about it. The biggest thing that I would say is possibly eventually cut from 3 meals to 2 meals.
Yeah. But I like that you have an eating window.
Yeah, I'm a strong proponent of changing things up. Not eating at the same exact time every day. Your body and your hormones eventually get used to that. We joke that when Anthony was younger, he still gets this way a little bit. Like, you could set your watch to Anthony.
Yes.
Like, if you didn't have a clock, you would know it was 12 o'clock.
Right.
Because at 12 o'clock, Anthony would come running into the kitchen going, I'm hungry. Because when you eat at the same exact time every single day,
it's Pavlov's dog.
your body gets used to it, and it's interesting. So let's say you eat every day at 12 o'clock. And tomorrow, instead of eating at 12 o'clock, you eat a giant meal at 11 or 11:30. At 12 o'clock, even though you ate a giant meal, you're still going to be hungry.
Yeah.
Because your hormones are like, it's time to eat. So you have to kind of stave that off. So I like to change it up a little bit. The biggest thing, you don't even need to read a book about this. One of the best things you can do is sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
Like, if the sun's not up, don't eat. I'm not saying eat whenever you want, sun up to sundown. I'm saying we only eat during sun up to sundown. So when the sun goes down, we don't eat. If it's 7 o'clock and the sun's down, we don't eat. If it's 5 o'clock and the sun is down, we don't eat. I try to do this. I'm not always successful at it because we have busy schedules, but our body does digest food better that way. Also, more and more research has shown that eliminating the later meal instead of the early meal actually works better with our circadian rhythm. But if you're not snacking, you're eating 3 meals a day, you're eating in a 10-hour window, I would say maybe eventually try to cut that down to 2 meals. Eat a little bit more for your breakfast, see if you can go a little bit longer, eat a little bit more for your lunch/dinner, and then try to go to the next morning.
Great advice.
Next one is from Mel.
Hey, Mel.
Mel said 48 hours with the CGM. Here's what I know so far. Quest peanut butter cups don't spike my glucose, but eating a whole peach did. I seem to be right at the low end of normal most of the time, which I guess is good. Also found out I do not have asthma after all. My lung function tests came back normal, so the GP and I think it's a post-viral asthma.
Wow.
Unless the allergy tests come up with something else with something. She was good answering my questions too, especially about how to get off the inhaler. I think I've got a keeper.
What a victory. Knowing that, you have a doctor you can work with. Thank you for sharing that, because it's going to give hope to so many other people, because they're like, is this magical unicorn of a doctor that works with me and my health goals actually out there? Yes, there absolutely are.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. And it's really interesting to utilize the CGM and see, what you think. I see a lot of people get to the thing well, if I would eat a keto treat, wouldn't I be just as good to eat some fruit? Wouldn't that be equal? Wouldn't they have the same response? I might as well eat something natural, right? Just have some just a bunch of fruit, because that's going to be natural.
And I don't want
salad.
to demonize fruit.
No, not at all.
But a few things about fruit. First of all, if you are going to consume any fruit, my suggestion is locally grown in season. Okay, so that would be the ancestral way to do it, which means you're walking along through the woods, you come across a blueberry bush, ha-ha, blueberries! And ancestrally, like American Indians, like Little House on the Prairie, you would have consumed every blueberry that was on that bush.
Because
maybe pack up a few to go home to make some blueberry pie or jam or something like that. But there would not be a blueberry left on that bush when you came across it, because you don't know when you're going to come across it again. They're in season for a little while, and then they're gone. But one of the things that was interesting, and I can't wait for Dave Feldman to release the videos from the Citizen Scientist Foundation conference, where there was a talk on fruit. And one of the things that's interesting is that fruit and the sugars within fruit, the fructose, actually trigger something in our body to forage.
Right.
Right?
It's like hibernate.
Because you think about bears, that you forage. So when you consume that fructose, you forage. What is forage? You go looking for more food. Ancestrally, we would have had to go out and find our food. We would have had to go through the woods to find more food. It
Now
gave us energy to do that.
It's a short walk now.
Now, we consume that fructose. We get this urge to forage, only our foraging takes place in our refrigerator.
Pantry.
We're not expending energy to forage. We're going to the grocery store. We're going to the refrigerator. And what are we constantly foraging for? More sweet stuff.
Right.
You know, so it was a very interesting talk. And I don't want to spoil too much of it, but if you are going to consume fruit, and I'm not getting on you, Mel, for consuming fruit. I think that's a great test. I mean, we did it once with pineapple in testing a food, and it was amazing to see how high Rachel's glucose went. And of course, somebody did respond, well, that means you're not healthy. No, she consumed a lot of sugar. She doesn't consume a lot of sugar. It did come back down within about an hour and a half, so her body did what it was supposed to do.
It reacted.
But there's a lot of sugar in pineapple. A lot of sugar. There's a lot of sugar in a peach. So if you are going to consume it, locally grown in season, I would tell you locally grown is within 300 miles. And that's stretching it. You know, if it's not available in your state, I would say, unless you're like on the border of a state, I would say find something else. You know, if you look at way before like trains and things like that, if you lived in Florida, you weren't eating an apple from Maine.
Right.
How were you getting it? People up in New York were not getting oranges. How were you getting it? So,
couldn't walk there.
You know, you shouldn't be able to eat grapes every day of the year. You know, if they're not locally grown, if they're not in season, find something else to eat. Next one is from Donna. This is
Donna.
The last one. Donna said, does ketochow ice cream taste the same in a blender as it does in a Ninja Creamy? I just watched Joe and Rachel blender method with using 8 ounces of liquid. Can you use all butter, or should you use either cream, water, or almond milk with the butter? Okay, so in the Ninja Creamy, well, I don't know where we would have ever used 8 ounces of liquid unless you're following the blender method, which was long before we had a Ninja Creamy. So you can make ketochow ice cream. You can honestly use almost any protein powder with a really good blender. It's got, usually, I would say, a Vitamix. It's got to have a tamper function, super high speed. And that one we use ice cubes and then 8 ounces of water or coconut milk or almond milk. And then we used heavy cream. It does not work well with butter when you do that. The ice melts or makes your ice cream, which is why we would only use 8 ounces of liquid. In a Ninja Creamy, you're going to make a standard ketochow. You're going to make a regular keto. We have a couple of videos on how to make it in a Ninja Creamy. But you're going to make a regular ketochow and pour it into the creamy. And then you freeze it. And then you use your Ninja Creamy. To answer your first question, no, it does not taste the same.
The Ninja Creamy tastes better.
Well,
in my opinion.
No. Well, so the ice cream in the blender, in my opinion, has a little bit more flavor. I will say, though, anytime you freeze ketochow, the flavor, in my opinion, seems to mute just a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
You know?
But I like the texture
of the Ninja Creamy.
Because you're saying taste, and you're going
more like ice cream.
You're going for flavor. I'm going for texture.
And the reason I'm saying that when you make the ketochow ice cream in the blender, it tastes the flavor's a little bit more enhanced because it's not fully frozen. Yeah. It's think Wendy's Frosty.
Yeah. Soft serve.
Yeah. It's a little bit lower than soft serve. It's more like a Wendy's Frosty. Ninja Creamy is going to be more of like a hard scoop ice cream. So if you're doing it in the blender, I would not use butter. I would not use butter at all. You can use all cream, but that would be an extremely, extremely fatty because you need 12 ounces of heavy cream. That would be very high in carbs because every ounce has about a carb. And then that's a lot of fat because every ounce is 100 calories. So
I would go with the mixture route where you're doing water and some almond milk.
Yeah. Or making it now, if you're using it Ninja Creamy, you can use melted butter.
Yes.
So 4 tablespoons of melted butter, warm water, fill it up to just below the line. And I mean just a hair below the line. Dump that in your blender. add in your ketochow, blend it really well, pour it back in the creamy, go ahead and freeze it. You can make a full one, but you're going to have some left over. You can always drink that.
I would.
But if you want to make it into creamy, you can use butter or you can use 4 ounces of heavy cream. But if you're going to make it in the blender, we have a video on how to do it with the butter. It's not as good and it's a little complicated. You end up with wax on the mouth, the roof of your mouth.
Not super pleasant.
We did it. We made it through.
I think you need like just a couple hours sleep before we leave though.
I need a lot more than a couple of hours sleep. What I need is a Ninja Creamy. That's what I need.
Let's have a Ninja Creamy, baby.
I would like a Ninja Creamy. But again, Thursday, we will be live. We will be live. We will be live. I'm speaking it to fruition.
Okay.
We've got our... Even if we're sick, we'll be live. But we've got our satellite. We've got our Starlink. We will be able to set that up in the campground. Again, if you're not in Mighty Networks, go join members.twocrazyketos.com. It's completely free if you want to support us financially. There's a $5, a $10, and a $25 option in there. Rachel will be live in the paid section. Got a few cool surprises coming out this week. And working on a couple of great videos. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for Keto Beyond the Couch. And also make sure you head over and leave your story on Mighty Networks. So if you like seeing videos like this, take a look at some of the videos we have linked right over there. Also, make sure you take a look at the most recent video that I'm going to put right over here.
But whether you head this way or you head this way, don't forget to head this way. Subscribe to our channel and click the little bell icon. And that way, every single time it's a brand new month, you'll be alerted to it.
Until next time.
Bye.